Welcome to the Smart CEO Smart Chat. I am Kyra Hardwick, and I am thrilled to be here with you. Thanks for tuning in. We hope that this episode will be an incredible influence on the way that you do the work that you do every day. So whether you're a smart CEO, working from home, working from the office, simply navigating your life and family, whatever it is, today's the day you made a great decision to tune into our podcast and get this smart talk. So let's dig in.
Welcome back to yet another episode of the SmartCEO Podcast. I am your host, Alina Conley, Program Manager for the SmartCEO Capacity Builder cohort, and also Senior Leader for Coaching and People Development at the Kyra Company. And today I am joined by one of our cohort members, Brandy Jackson. Welcome to the show, Brandy.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's just start with you telling us why you decided to go into the more non-traditional route of being an entrepreneur versus the more traditional route of being in a 9-to-5.
I get asked that question a lot. And especially they always ask, why insurance? Why'd you go into insurance? I always knew I wanted to own a business. I just didn't know what type of business that I wanted to own. My background is corporate, of course. That's why I learned all my great skills and training and development and everything came from my corporate experience. I was with AT&T. I was there for 16 years. And, I've been all around the company, done quite a few things. And at the end, I was a sales manager. And I was like, I'm getting burned out. It's time for me to do something different. And so I had a really good friend that at the time was in insurance. And she was like, oh, my God, I think you'd be great at insurance because you're great at what you do. And she was like, just think of it like this. This is something that people need. They got to have it. And I was like, yeah. So I pondered over for a little while and I ended up leaving. I just took a leap. I had way more riskier behaviors back then. I was like, why not? Let me try it. So I left corporate back in 2013 and I went to work for an insurance company just to see if I liked it. Of course, when I first got there, when you're starting out a new journey, especially when you're going into entrepreneurship, the money just doesn't come like immediately. You got to work. It's like a continuous thing. And so when I first left, I was looking at my salary that I was making in corporate versus what I had jumped out the boat. And I was like, oh, so this is what entrepreneurship looks like. I didn't know it was a building process. I left and I thought about going back. I'm not going to lie. I was like, oh my God, what have I done? But I had so many people around me that were so encouraging and says, stay the course. It's going to get better. And so I ended up staying and I worked for a couple of different companies. I worked for a couple of different agents. And within 2 years, I said, I'm ready to go into business for myself. So initially I was an exclusive agent for another carrier. And then I left and started my own business, which is the Brandy Jackson agency.
Okay.
And so it's been history ever since. And I will tell you, it has been a journey.
Yeah. So when you think about even that story, right? So when we think about insurance as a business model, I think a lot of people could benefit from doing more traditional businesses like insurance as a test to entrepreneurship. I always say that, right? Something like that everybody needs is a great experience, or even like a sales role. Like you just
Correct.
those foundational skills for pretty much selling anything that you create.
Yeah.
What do you feel are some of the things that you gained from AT&T in your corporate experience, but also when you were under other insurance agencies that equipped you for your own company?
That's a great question, Elena. So I will tell any and everybody, don't ever discount the things, the skills, the training, all of those things that I was taught in corporate America prepared me for where I am today. Down from the sales training to the certifications that I've taken, just management training, they really invested in me. Like they invested in sending me, I will be in Atlanta, I will be in California, I will be in Dallas, where the corporate offices is, and they really invest in their employees. So I am truly grateful to have that experience because that's what molded me into the leader that I am today.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I left corporate and went, my whole strategy was, let me go get some information behind my belt. I need to work for this company. My first insurance job was working for a company. They're very conservative. They're very conservative, very different. And my role there, I figured out later on, the reason why I went there was to learn the underwriting side of insurance, how to write good business, what's the do's and don'ts, things like that. I learned a lot from that, but my core skill was sales. And I have been in sales for the last 20 years. And so that training that I got from corporate is actually what made me successful in being a business owner. And I tell business owners this all the time, that when you're in business, you're selling a service or a product. You're selling something. And I'm sorry, excuse the noise in the background because I do have people here working, so my apologies. But it is beneficial when you're working in a corporate environment to take advantage of all the trainings, all the any type of certifications that they're offering. Take it, get it under your belt, because I can assure you, in the long run, you'll need them down the road, because I did. And even when I went and I worked for two agents. One of them was a brand new agent, and one of them was an established agent that had been in the business for years. My goal when I went to work for both of them was, I needed to see how things looked from being a brand new agent. What are some of the challenges? What are some of the things that she was having? And then when I went and worked for the established agent, he taught me what it looked like to sustain and have a successful insurance agency, because he had been in the business longer. So he was more of a mentor for me.
That's a brilliant idea. So what were some of the distinctions between the two?
So I'll tell you, working with a brand new agent, I saw the challenges that she was having being a new agent, because there were a lot of things that I saw that she didn't know. And I'll tell you, it doesn't matter what type of business that you're starting, whether it's insurance, it could be a school, it could be a law firm, it could be whatever. If you don't know the basic core business, you will not be as successful as a person that knows that you can know your craft, but business is core, because you got to know how to properly run a business in order for it to be successful. So initially, when I started out with her, I saw the challenges that she was having as a new agent, challenges with hiring the right people, getting the right people in place, having good employees, being a good leader. Those were some of the things that I saw that she struggled with. And so then when I went over to the established agent, he had been in business longer. Most of his employees had been with him for a while. He had more systems in place. He taught me what needed to be in place in order for you to be successful and make the numbers and make the money that you wanted to make in the business over the long run. So I got a chance to see the short version, the beginning, and then I also got a chance to see someone that was already established and they had been around for a while.
Yeah. And that kind of, it almost like aligns with the reason why we established this particular version of SmartCEO, where we pay attention to those growth stage business owners, because I think that, when you're in that startup phase, and then all the way to, call it 5, maybe even 10 years, you're really mastering your craft, right? So you're learning the fundamentals of business, you're getting all your certifications, your licenses. You're really just learning from experience the things that can't be taught. You're learning how to anticipate the needs of your clients, or learning to anticipate what's going to go wrong, because it has gone wrong, because that's all that the only thing that you can learn, or the only way that you can learn, is by doing it. And I feel like at some point, in order for you to really enterprise your business or get it beyond a certain point, because we only got so many minutes in a day, and there's only one of us, we got to start hiring the right people. We have to have, in order to hire the right people, we have to have the systems in place that's going to train them, the standard operating procedures that they can follow. Like, we have to be able to duplicate ourselves. And so this version of SmartCEO, to me, is what helps kind of line that up for you all to do that. So talk to me about, in your business, where do you feel like you fall in terms of your process right now? Like, where are you with starting to scale your agency?
I'm in that growth stage to where I know it's time for me to move to the next level. I've done a lot of work within the last, I'm going to say, when COVID hit, that was what, 2020. It's been about 4 years. And what I've done is I think we're the hardest on ourselves. And so when I sit back and I think about everything that has been established within these last 4 years, I should honestly be very proud of myself for doing the work. And of course, we're hard on ourselves because we feel like we should be further. And that's when that growth mindset comes into place and say, okay, it's time for me to grow and scale because I've done the work. Now it's time to move forward. So within the last 4 years, I've implemented some of my solid systems and processes that my agency guidelines. I've did a full out marketing campaign. I've done a whole training system around training and hiring the right people. I actually had to do something that was extremely hard for a lot of business owners during that pivotal time is I had to outsource a lot of my employees. So most of my people that I have working for me now are actually overseas. And so they made me actually go back and look at my processes, and I had to retweak and redo things to make sure that they were getting what they needed to be trained properly and to understand how things are going to be ran in the agency. So it has been, these last 4 years has been a journey for me because not only that I had to do those for them, but it also sharpened me. It made me go back and take a look at my business to say, these are the gaps. These are the things that I need to close up in order for my employees to be successful and for us all to be successful. And I was at a brunch about a month ago. One of the ladies, she's a friend and she's also a client. And she said, oh my God, Brandy, she said, I called your office the other day and your girls are so amazing. And she was like, how'd you get them? How'd you find them? She was like, you got them trained so well. And I was like, oof, it's taken years for that to happen. It doesn't happen overnight because you gotta sit back, even when you're coaching and development. Not only am I looking at what they're doing, it makes me go back and look at my processes to say, oh, Brandy, you don't have a process in place for that. So you need to go back and redo that so that way she can get better in her role because I'm a good leader. It makes you go back and look at yourself as a leader to see what is it that you need to do in order for you to be a good leader to give your people what they need. Man, that growth not only came from me putting those processes and systems in place, but it also made me look at myself as a leader.
Right.
And what did I need to do to sharpen my skills?
Yeah, that's so good and so true. And I think it goes back to the whole it's going to get messy before it gets clean. It's hard before it gets easy, but it has to get done. Even something as simple as when I hired a virtual assistant over, you have that language barrier, you have that time difference. And the only thing that's going to get you help is if you have your documents in line that says this is how you do it.
Want A, B, C, and D.
Exactly.
If you don't have because you're gonna drive them crazy, and they're gonna drive you crazy because nothing will get done because they are so systematized. And I didn't realize that. And guess what? I realized during that process, I like systems too. I like processes too. When I go to places,
F it off.
yeah, when I go to places now and they don't have systems and process, I am annoyed. What are they doing? So yes, you're right. It does get messy before it gets better. And honestly, it was a blessing in disguise because that process of hiring people overseas really made me dig deep into the business and make me put those systems and processes together. And I didn't even know that I needed them as much as I did when I had physical people that were there in my office. I was like, oh my God, how was I running business before?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Inefficient.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we were in hustle mode when they can only take you so far.
Yeah. So when we think about your experience with the last 6 weeks, right? So you think about some of the topics that we've covered, but also even like our 3 pillars. So that collaboration, bankability, supply chain readiness. What was something that really grabbed hold of you that you really enjoyed during your cohort?
I'm going to say one of the top things that I seen is most of all of the candidates that were in the cohort, we had a lot in common. So it was almost like it was a good alignment of people because every room that I jumped in when throughout this journey, we all had something in common, something that either we were at the same growth stage or we were looking to acquire. And then the collaboration to me is what stuck out the most. And what I've learned, I'm going to say within the last year or so, is I've seen people career go from 0 to 100 just based on collaborating with the right people.
Right.
Like collaborations can change your life. They can change your business. And that's something that I've really pondered over and thought about. Other than my strategic growth, I'm looking at some of the things I talked about was acquisitions, and we talked about that during the cohort process as well too. But just that major one piece at the beginning, because if you collaborate with the right people, they're going to give you information and tools that's going to make you bankable. It's going to give you information and tools that's going to let you be in the rooms and meet the right people. So to me, I feel like collaboration is probably top tier. It's probably the most important piece of when you're at that growth stage to get you to that next level.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think that's even how we started off the cohort with our strategic planning facilitator. He said, before we even go into all of this, I'm going to tell you right now, like who your circle is all that really matters when it comes to your strategy.
Yeah,
And
it made me start thinking. That first meeting that we had, I got off of there and I was like, light bulb moment, because people say this and it sounds cliche. Your network is your net worth. That is the truth. That is the absolute truth. Even though it sounds cliche, it is absolutely true. And you do have to get in a room with people that have more information than you. You do have to get in a room with people that's smarter than you. You do have to get in a room with people that know people that, you know, are in areas that you want to be in. Yeah, that collaboration piece to me was probably the most important thing that I just kept hearing over and over again. And I see every week the speakers that we had, you could tell that they collaborated with other people to get to where they were as well, because they knew a lot of people. They had a lot of information, a lot of advice, a lot of people, hey, go see this person. They had viable information that they could give to you from somebody that probably gave it to them.
Exactly.
And so that stuck out to me. That lets me know that if you're trying to get in those areas of growth and blow this thing out, you got to collaborate with the right people.
Yeah. So say there's someone listening right now and they're considering applying for the next cohort. What advice would you give them?
I would say that this 6 weeks has been probably the best investment of time that I've given, because you guys have poured into us 6 weeks worth of information that should be able to get us to that next level. I would say that I see the effort and I see the sincerity of you guys. When you get on these calls, it's not just getting on here and I'm just checking a box. It's I'm truly pouring into you guys because I want to see you guys successful. And to me, that is it's unmatched, because I've been a part of other cohorts and I've been a part of other masterminds and things like that. And I'll tell you, sometimes they're effective and sometimes they're not. And I would say the Smart CEO cohort to me was very effective. It made me start thinking about things that I had not thought about before. And so this was definitely beneficial. So I would tell the next cohort, if you invest in the time and you show up weekly, you will get something that's going to definitely help you get to the next level.
Absolutely. Wonderful. We appreciate your participation in this cohort. Definitely collaborated and contributed.
Yes.
If you guys want to continue to collaborate with Brandy and meet her, we encourage you to join our online community. You can too become a part of the Smart CEO community by going to smartceos.com, where we host our online community on Mighty Networks. Other than that, we'll see you guys on the other side. Thank you again, Brandy.
Thank you so much for having me, Elena.
Thanks for listening to Smart Chat. Smart CEOs, you are on your way. We hope this episode has been fantastic for you. We are excited that you were here. So here's the deal. Follow us on all of our social media, look up the Kyra Company, and join us on all of our private platforms. We invite you to join our private Facebook group at the Smart CEOs. Jump in, join the conversation, and learn more about what we can do every day to grow our business and grow our community. Thanks so much for joining us. We're excited that you were here. Once again, I'm Kyra Hardwick, and you know it. I was thrilled to bring the Smart Chat to you. Take care. Talk to you soon.